Good morning to the US. Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Yes.
cheer up. Yay, yay, yay. Oh, this thing is not working. Wonderful. That's a wonderful good Monday morning, Roger. So, yeah, welcome. The song was that nice that I was expecting actually the FileWave dance group, but somehow, I don't know, I think our marketing team forget to organize that for us. I hope everybody is well apart. While if you are thinking, what is this lady doing here? I'm getting my information here from our team. So many people are there, you can talk now and so on. So yeah, for those of you who doesn't know me, I'm Nurdan Eris. I am the one you owe everything why you are here today, all the hard times, the good times, and so on. It was in 1999 that I was sitting back in Germany and was reselling great products. Some of you might know them. Products like DAL, Data Access Language, Snap Navigator, Timbuktu, and those sorts of things, you know, connecting to the AS400, the mainframe systems, and so on. And then some person I know pretty well, because I was selling also their product, which was called FileWave, came to me. It was the owner and the initial coder and inventor of FileWave, Jan van Riel and Paul Carpentier. And they told me, look, Nurdan, you're selling FileWave here in the German regions since years, and you're pretty successful with that. Most of you know my background is from sales. And they asked me, they told me, look, we have a new invention. It's called eClip. And we have investors, and they want us to concentrate just on the new invention, and they wanted to get rid of FileWave. So there was two solutions. The one is I take FileWave over, so I buy it, I resell it, I develop it. Other people buy houses. I bought a software, because the opposite side would have been that FileWave would have been dead, because they wanted to stop all the support contracts, go in maintenance mode, and end the life of it. And since I really liked the product and the solution, I believed, I mean, think about that, was in 1999 when we was connecting, you know, using FileWave to distribute files and software to the old Mac OS 2 days. There was no other MDM, there was no MDM, there was no other product in the market than FileWave. That was the product in the market. So, and I thought, this is something which has a future. I really want to give this a try. And then I bought FileWave. So I take the licenses from them. 2-3 developers came with me. I started from my home office, which was one room, one bedroom. That was it. And then, yeah, I start redesigning the product. And 1 week after I purchased the FileWave code, Apple announced we are going to move into macOS 10. So the whole code I bought was worthless. So we start developing it from the scratch and so on. So that was in July 1999. Some of you are, I don't know who's, I don't see now all the attendees. If there is Mr. Jim Schumer and those, the old file waivers still with us, they might remember these old days. And I ran then, my first trip was then to the US, found the company, tried to gain some employees. There was a gentleman called Ben Forsyth. Some of you might remember him still. So it was a long way until today. So why I'm telling you that, all that's nice stuff. Today, the FileWave board, where I'm member also of it, decided that we will have a new CEO. And I'm stepping back as CEO. I will have other functions in the company, and I will be staying on the board. And I'm here today to thank you for the last I don't know, how many years is that? Math is not my best thing, even if I'm in sales. So 22 years, right? 22 years of FileWave. I founded it in my one-room apartment, and here we are today. We are in Switzerland, in Germany, in the US, in APAC, in a lot of other countries, over, I don't know how many hundreds people. And I thought I will go a little bit in the backside, help with other parts, but the CEO role is no longer my role. So saying that, I first would like to thank here for all our employees, especially my US people. You guys are great. It's been an honor to be your CEO. And I'm looking forward to work with you still in the next years, but in other relations. And I would like to thank also those customers of you who are working with me since years. I'm coming over soon with Tobias to see some of you and most of you, and we'll have a US event also. So I'm really looking forward for that. And then you say, Tobias, who is Tobias? Tobias Schimmer. Tobias Schimmer is your new CEO. So saying that, again, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to see you all, or most of you, in the US in October. And so long. Thank you very much for the past 22 years. Tobias.
Yeah, thank you, Nurdan. And I just want to say it's been very impressive what you've built. I think it's a huge honor for me to really take this over from you. A tremendous customer base, especially in the US, and all of you guys out there that are working daily with our product and have really been part of the journey of bringing it where it is today. And all the the great team that we have in the US that and worldwide that is really representing FileWave. So I'm really grateful to take on this role. And I think to start, I want to quickly tell you a bit more about who I am. I think I gave a quick intro in the last Alliance event, but I thought it's worthwhile to just repeat this a little bit so you know who you're dealing with. And then after that, I want to jump a bit also into kind of what is my view of where do I want to take the company going forward, and talk a bit about that together with Vasily, the CTO. He will come on a bit later as well. So I think with that, let's jump right in. Who is Tobias? So I'm trying to hide it, but it's probably not working. I have a German accent, and it's because I'm from Germany. I'm from a region called the Black Forest. It's in the southwest of Germany. That's where I grew up. And I think when I was preparing for this, I was really, reflecting a little bit on my early days, and I realized one pattern that came through there, that I always liked creating things. I was actually, I think in the 90s when you started a company, I was still a school kid, and I was tinkering with computers. I was basically buying the parts and putting them together. I was also trying to program with QBasic. It was a DOS-based programming language back in the days. Some of you might remember that.
Well, wait a second, Tobias. This doesn't make me feel good now. That you have been still a school kid. This really doesn't make me feel good.
Okay. I'm not that much younger in the end, right? So let's be clear. It's not that bad. Yeah. So I was always in love with creating stuff and also doing mechanical stuff with like engines and things like that. So I think it was pretty clear to me to really go into some kind of engineering, and that's why I then studied automotive engineering at the University of Stuttgart. Germany is a big car country, so this was kind of one of the ideas. Okay, I want to work for one of the big car companies. And I think what did I learn there? I think it was actually a pretty hard coursework. It was a lot of math, a lot of physics, and it really helped me to understand how to learn anything, basically. If you put something complex in front of me, I really learned there to put it into pieces that you can actually solve and structure it in a way that you can come to a solution. But towards the end of my studies, I realized that just being basically being an engineer for my life wasn't really what I wanted to do. I was always interested in business as well, but I was kind of fed up being a student. So I was looking for ways to learn business without being a student. And I found this company. It's called the Boston Consulting Group. It's actually an American, founded strategy consulting firm, and they, they were telling me, hey, you can start with us, and we'll basically teach you business on the job. And I found that pretty intriguing to continue basically my education, but also start earning a bit of money and getting out there in real business life. What they didn't tell me is that it's 80 to 90 hours a week, and you're really sweating hard, I think, to make your clients happy. But in the end, I actually, I learned a ton, I think, there. I spent a couple of years there and really learned business inside out. No matter what the area, I think I had some exposure to it through the project work that I was able to do there. Eventually, I thought it would be probably good to just also get some more formal business education. So I was able to come to the US and do my MBA in Chicago at Kellogg at Northwestern University. And it was really like, a great time out from that really hard work at BCG. And it was also the time where I was able to expand my vision a little bit, because when you're kind of in we call it the hamster wheel, in your company, you really don't know what else is going on in the world. But business school, I think I met a lot of great people that did other things, founded companies, worked in startups, worked in technology. And that really got me interested in the technology space and specifically also software. So, eventually I convinced my wife, and then we had just one-year-old son to move over to San Francisco, and 11-hour flight away from home. So moved to San Francisco, and then in San Francisco I helped build two companies. So one is called Shift.com. It's a company that sells used cars online, and then the other one is Cruise, which is basically building robo taxis. I think for both companies, I was on the management team, and it was kind of on the interface of the automotive stuff that I had done before and technology. And, I think it was, again, an awesome learning opportunity, because these companies, they grew really fast, and I really learned how to, professionalize different business functions and how to prepare for growth. Obviously there's a lot of growing pains that Nurdan didn't mention, that I think FileWave also went through and is still going through. We have grown quite a bit in our staff base, and I'm hoping to bring some of this experience to FileWave now. Eventually, my wife said, you told me we'll go to San Francisco for a year or two. It was quite a few more years, and she could, she basically wanted to go back home. So we decided with our now 3 kids to move the family back to the Black Forest, which is where I'm currently now. And and I think that got me somewhat connected to FileWave, because I don't know if you know, but FileWave's headquarters is in Switzerland, which is just to the south of where I live. So it's actually pretty close to where I currently live. And through some contacts, I got connected to Nurdan. And when I was hearing more about the company, I got pretty intrigued about, both the product, I think the market, the space that we're in, and also the company itself. I think, just the tremendous talent base that we have in the staff, in the people at FileWave. I hope you can still see. Okay, so why this space and why FileWave? I think if you look at my CV, you could say, okay, you're always kind of in this automotive thing, and now you're doing something totally different. I think that's true. It's very different, and it's a lot of learning for me. With you as customers, and I've started meeting some of you, which is actually, I think, the most exciting part of my role, to start meeting with people who actually use our product, understand the problems that we're trying to solve for you, maybe the ones that we're not solving yet and that we need to solve, right? But if we really think about it from a high level, I think what you guys do out there using our product is it really enables, both students in educational and students and teachers in educational institutions, but then also employees and enterprises to be productive. And today everybody's working with digital tools. software, the combination of software and hardware, and I think FileWave and the work that all of you are doing out there is really at the core of making that a very seamless process for, I guess, the end customer here, who is the student, who is the teacher, who is, the employee. And I think through COVID, you probably can tell a lot of stories there. I think the nature of work has changed quite a bit. A lot more people work from home. I think the way companies are set up is a lot more flexible. So there's more contract workforce. And I think all these changes that are happening on how basically people collaborate, both in the educational sector, but then also in enterprises, I think that brings a lot of challenges and actually nice opportunities, I think, for us as FileWave, if we work closely with you, right, understand what are the things that we need to provide you with to really, actually provide a good service to employees, students, and teachers. So I think I talked about why FileWave, right, already. I think it's an awesome company. I think amazing customer base. Again, I'm really looking forward to more meetings with you in the US and getting to know many of you eventually, hopefully also again in person. And so I think it's great. We have a great starting point. We have a great foundation at FileWave that we can build on. I think there's also some work to do, right? I think, and I think that's where my experience from these other companies hopefully is helpful. I think if you look at all the different functions, whether that's product management, engineering, finance, sales, HR, it's a founder-run company, so it's come to a certain level of professionalization, and I think we're just at that stage where we have reached a size where we just need to lift it to the next level. And I think we have all the the things to do it, and that will be a big part of my job also, to help professionalize all these areas of the business, which in return should then also help you guys, right, to get better service from us, whether that's a faster, higher quality shipping product or just better service overall. So I think with that, let's jump a little bit into where do I want to take the company. So I think my long-term vision is really, like, if I had to sum it up in one sentence, it's we really want to efficiently enable you, right? So professional and educational organizations to provide your customers, so the employees, students, and teachers, with seamless software and system access, right? And I think while keeping the data secure, and that's probably a topic that's becoming bigger and bigger now. I think with everything kind of moving into the cloud. So that's really how I understand the FileWave vision. And if I want to make it concrete, so what does this mean really? I think we want to be the go-to solution, like globally, for cross-platform endpoint management. And I think when I think about when do we have done our job well, I think it's really when we solve your business, day-to-day business problems, to really make your employees productive. And I think what I want to note there before I get into the details and like what that means to us, is through those first conversations that I'm starting to have with you, it's actually helping me quite a bit, and I think it will help us tremendously to really collaborate with you, to understand, like, where can we create value, right? So I think there's different use cases of FileWave, whether that's kind of monitoring license use across your company, and then through that actually effectively managing license use within your organization, and through that managing the cost of that. There's a ton of use cases, I think, that I really want to dig into and see what are we doing there already, what's still missing to make it even more impactful. So I'm really looking forward to deeper conversations with you. So I think specifically, right, how do we become the go-to solution? I think one thing that we have definitely heard and we're working on, and Vasily will talk a bit more about how we actually, we want to get there. I think we want to provide excellent day one support across all the key operating systems. I know we haven't been there, and Tony later will talk a little bit what we're doing for the Apple Fall release. And currently we are short-staffed. I mean, that's basically just a story there, that we haven't been able to bring on the people and build out the team to really support day zero support. But we're on it. Like, we're definitely, that's one commitment that I want to give you, that we're going to try and get there as fast as possible. In addition, I think we want to allow for customer-specific customization and automation. I think just with a handful of customers that I've met, some of you are really using our APIs and integrations or APIs already in a pretty deep way. And I think that is something that we feel like can actually create a lot of that business value. So we want to understand it better. We want to understand, like, what are the helpful integrations that you're maybe missing, or ideas that you have, right, that allow you to really create a great experience for your end customers again. And then I think the last part, we also want the tool to be, easy to use. I think currently my take is we have a very powerful tool, but it's also, not simple to use. I think sometimes maybe also not intuitive, and we're working hard to really make this, your job as admins easier, and then also eventually deliver the product nicely via the cloud. So as said, we have taken some first actions, and we'll talk about some of this today. I think you probably know that we have a partnership with Lenovo, and we're really doubling down on that. I think it's a great partnership that brings us a lot of basically enterprise and education customers in Asia currently. And we're really thinking about expanding that also to the US and to Europe eventually. So we're planning that out, and that's something we're definitely committed to. And that's bringing us a lot of new customers that, again, I think will help us to make the product even better, right, with their input and their use cases. We also have formed a partnership with TeamViewer, and this is already integrated as kind of a preview release or a preview version, demo version in 14.6, and Tony will get a bit more into what this will do. And then we'll have the full version in 14.7 end of the year ready, where it's like fully integrated into our product and, ready to use for you guys. So I think those were two exciting things on the business side. I don't know if Vasily.
I'm here.
Yeah, there's so many people, so it's hard to see. So Vasily is going to talk to you a little bit about kind of what's going on the product side and what he's thinking on the tech side.
Right. Hi everybody. Can you see me, hear me well? I hope so.
I can see you. I can see you now.
Okay, excellent. So hi everybody. Again, here's Vasily Suvorov. As you, I guess many of you have already seen me a few times. For those of you who are new, welcome. As Tobias mentioned, I was, I guess, the first new sort of executive team member that was brought on board earlier this year. In fact, I've started in February. It already feels like I've been here for 2 or 3 years, even though this is, I think, what is it, my 8th month with the company. And we really started to set up the foundation for the future of the company. Obviously, we did a fantastic job of starting from humble beginnings and growing to one of the pioneers. I would not shy from that to say that we were a pioneer in cross-platform MDM and adding more and more features to be called Unified Endpoint Management Solution. And right now we're building foundation for the next 25 years, right? As IT environment is changing around us, we obviously understand it, we feel it, and we also feel that some of the technical foundations of the product, need some love, need some attention, need some fine tuning, and we have to do it. Obviously, we all know that we have experienced some instability. We kind of became a little bit slow in developing features and things like that. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, yes, I mean, the foundation needs some attention. So, last time, those of you who have attended my presentation around 3 months ago at the previous quarterly meeting, I've seen a sort of a big vision that I have presented in terms of how we think about the future of unified endpoint management, how we see that playing a key role in enabling future work, future of education, by embracing and enabling, people working from anywhere and people from studying from anywhere, right? Being flexible, enabling integration, enabling personalization, enabling, conditional access and all these great things. But at the same time, we also heard some voices. I mean, okay, so you're thinking about all these things, you're investing in it, but how about some basic functionality? Because I mean, we depend on your product, and I'm not going to, put the head of a customer, me using your product day in and day out, and some things don't work great. We obviously understand it. We still committed to a longer term vision. And at the same time, we wanted to use this session to really highlight, what are we doing to make the product more stable and better, while at the same time, setting it up for the future. And Tobias already mentioned how we are committed to and understand that, yes, we need to move faster and support Apple feature releases faster. So we will definitely do that. In the spirit of cross-platform development, we are looking at Google Chrome APIs and evaluating. For those of you who might not know, Google recently made available what they call policy APIs. They're very, very extensive. They basically allow you to do programmatically everything that and I think more than Google Console does via Web UI. So we're looking at it and seeing, okay, what's the right moment to bring that in? Given the fact that yes, there are certain things that we need to do. I mentioned already several times the code base and how we want to spend more attention and make it better and make it ready for cloud and so on and so forth. Obviously, this is going to be balanced, right? So every iteration that we do, we will make some improvements, right? And then the next iteration, more improvements to the things that you don't necessarily see, but will definitely feel, right? In terms of stability, scalability, and things of that nature. Now, I just mentioned iterations, and hopefully already noticed that the team, just in this few months that we've been on board, we actually worked really, really hard behind the scenes. We did a lot of changes in how we're approaching our product and process. And you've seen that now we're trying to really stick to this, 3 months schedule of releasing our product. And those are iterations, I mean. And hopefully already felt that our releases are more stable, more predictable. And thanks to the team, they really, really work hard to do it. And we will, support and give more power to these teams to do it even better. Now, in our mission statement, you might have noticed that, yeah, I mean, we want to go to be, go-to tool, right? Meaning a leader. Everybody wants to be a leader, but I think we become a leader through enabling real business value, right? And business value comes from the fact that our product allows one to potentially tie in other things at the endpoint. Tune your third-party software, tune your security, connect it to the backend, and make sure that even people are not, working in the home network, right? Everything in this happens smoothly and securely and integrates with the backend. And this is what we mean, right? When we talk about API and adding integrations, this is what we have in mind. But obviously, we have to balance all that, and we will continue listening to your feedback and prioritize what we can do with each iteration, with those things in mind. One thing that we'll do today in terms of the future, if you have time and interest, we'll really ask you to stay after lunch and join our class spaces demo. It'll be, last time we talked about the vision, the slides and things like that for a next generation classroom management solution. And now we actually can show you the live system and talk about what it is. So it's a companion product, right? It's a cloud native product that we're doing. So for those of you who are interested, please join the session. I think now I need to give a word back to Tobias to tell us what's next.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Vasily. I think this is very exciting. And especially the class spaces product that we've built. So I really encourage you to check it out. And we want to get your feedback. So I think there's just great things coming today. Tony will also talk in depth about the TeamViewer integration and do a bit of a demo of how that's working today. So I think there's a lot of good stuff coming. So back to the agenda. We'll have a quick break now, where you can maybe get some coffee or something, and then at 10:45. So this is, I think, Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. Tony Keller will give a deep dive into 14.6 and really talk you through what we have done in the last 3 months. And then also, as said, give the demo to TeamViewer. After that, we'll have Ask FileWave Anything. I think it's a session that we have done a couple of times before, and this will be held this time, this time in English, obviously only. And then after that, I'll join you guys for a quick recap. After that, we'll have a lunch break, and then we have the bonus session that Vasily mentioned, where we'll do a demo of class bases, which I think for those of you who are in the education, I think it's really worthwhile to check it out. So I think last but not least, we have a bit of a giveaway. So if you scan this code, it will bring us to our LinkedIn page. And if you start following us, we'll post a couple of questions there. And if you answer them correctly, I think the questions will be posted, I think, later today and then tomorrow, or maybe starting tomorrow. Then you have the chance to win one of the $100 gift cards. And yeah, and you will get some good news about, when FileWave, what FileWave has in store. So if you like, we really encourage you to follow us on LinkedIn. So I think with that, back to John, and we'll have a quick break and then see you with Tony in a deep dive in 14.6. Thank you.